In the 1990s, the world thought Prince was losing his mind. He appeared in public with the word slave written across his face. He changed his name into an unpronounceable symbol. He fought one of the biggest record labels on earth. The media mocked him. Music executives called him difficult. Fans were confused. But decades later, something shocking happened. The exact future Prince warned about actually arrived. Today, millions of musicians are trapped inside a system controlled not by producers, not by radio stations, and not even by record labels, but by algorithms. Invisible mathematical systems now decide which songs get heard, which artists become famous, which emotions become profitable, and which creators disappear into silence. Prince understood this before Spotify existed, before TikTok, before YouTube recommendations, before AI-generated playlists. He saw something terrifying coming. A future where music would stop being treated as human expression and start becoming data. This is the story of how Prince predicted the algorithm era decades before the first streaming platform existed. To understand Prince's warning, we need to go back to the early 1990s. At that time, Prince was already one of the biggest artists in the world. He had created legendary albums, hit after hit, sold-out tours, global fame. But behind the scenes, a war was happening. His label, Warner Brothers Records, controlled ownership of his master recordings. That meant something incredibly important. Even though Prince created the music, the corporation owned the product, and Prince hated that reality. For him, music wasn't a commercial object. It was spiritual, emotional, human, alive. He believed songs came directly from the soul. And the idea that a corporation could legally own human creativity felt deeply wrong to him. But the industry thought differently. To record labels, music was inventory, assets, numbers, products. And Prince realized something dangerous. If corporations controlled music ownership, eventually they would also control artistic freedom itself. That realization changed everything. Then came the moment the world would never forget. Prince appeared publicly with the word slave written on his cheek. The media exploded. People laughed. Late-night television mocked him relentlessly. But Prince wasn't trying to create publicity. He was making a statement. He believed the music industry had transformed artists into controlled labor, not creators, not visionaries, not contracted musicians, workers, replaceable workers. And in many ways, he was right. The industry machine wanted predictability, safe formulas, repeatable success, controlled release schedules, profitable trends. But Prince was the opposite of predictable. He recorded constantly, experimented endlessly, released music at insane speed. He wanted freedom. The system wanted control. So Prince rebelled. He changed his name into an unpronounceable symbol to escape contractual limitations. The press called him the artist formerly known as Prince. But this wasn't eccentric behavior. It was strategic warfare against ownership structures damaged by Poranda's non-dollar Sotex. Prince understood that names, likenesses, recordings, publishing, and distribution were all becoming tools of corporate control. And now, decades later, many artists face the same battle, except the corporations have been replaced by algorithms. Fast forward to today. Streaming platforms dominate music consumption. Billions of songs, instant access, infinite playlists. At first, this looked revolutionary. Independent artists suddenly had global distribution. No physical CDs, no gatekeepers, no expensive manufacturing. But something else quietly happened. Music discovery became automated. Algorithms replaced human tastemakers. Instead of DJs, instead of local scenes, instead of underground communities, mathematical systems started deciding what people hear. And algorithms only care about one thing: engagement, retention, skip rates, completion percentages, replay value, data. Music became measurable behavior, not emotional experience. And suddenly, artists started changing their music to satisfy machine logic. Shorter intros, faster hooks, more repetitive choruses, TikTok-friendly structures, instant gratification. The algorithm rewards familiarity, predictability, efficiency, exactly the kind of artistic standardization Prince feared decades earlier. Prince believed groove was human, imperfection was human, Spontaneity was human. But algorithms don't understand soul. They understand patterns. If millions of users replay similar songs, the machine promotes similar songs. This creates a dangerous cycle. Artists begin studying analytics instead of emotion. They ask, how do I trigger the algorithm? Instead of, what do I truly want to express? That subtle shift changes everything. Music slowly becomes optimized instead of inspired, calculated instead of felt, engineered instead of lived. And Prince predicted this exact transformation. He repeatedly warned that technology companies would eventually dominate artistic distribution. He feared music becoming background content instead of sacred experience. And honestly, look around today. How many songs explode for 15 seconds on TikTok, then disappear forever? How many artists create music mainly to fit viral trends? How many musicians now study algorithms more than instruments? Prince saw this coming long before the world understood the consequences. Streaming promised freedom, but it created a new dependency. Artists now depend on playlists, recommendation engines, platform visibility, search optimization, and the terrifying reality is this: if the algorithm ignores you, you almost don't exist. An artist can create a masterpiece, but if the data signals aren't strong enough, the platform buries it. No visibility, no audience, no growth. In Prince's era, labels controlled access. Today, platforms control discoverability. The gatekeepers changed form, but they never disappeared. And this creates enormous psychological pressure for artists, because now creativity itself becomes performance data. Every release is measured instantly: streams, shares, retention curves, audience drop-off, virality percentages. The artist becomes trapped inside constant evaluation. Prince would have hated this system because he believed music should come from freedom, risk, experimentation, and emotional truth, not mathematical optimization. Now the situation is becoming even more extreme. Artificial intelligence can already generate music. AI can imitate styles, generate lyrics, produce melodies, create vocals, even simulate emotion. And this raises a terrifying question. If algorithms already control music distribution, what happens when algorithms also create the music itself? At that point, human musicians risk becoming optional. And Prince warned humanity about exactly this type of spiritual danger. Not AI specifically, but the replacement of authentic human expression with industrial efficiency. Prince believed music carried spiritual energy, that songs contained human pain, human ecstasy, human struggle, human truth. Can a machine truly reproduce that? Or can it only imitate emotional patterns mathematically? That question may define the future of music itself. Ironically, many younger artists now understand Prince better than people did in the 1990s, because they are living inside the world he predicted, a world where creators constantly fight for ownership, fight for visibility, fight for independence, fight against systems designed to maximize platform profit. Prince wasn't anti-technology. He was anti-control, anti-exploitation, anti-dehumanization. He feared a future where art would be treated purely as consumable content. And today, that future is everywhere. Songs optimized for attention spans, albums designed around streaming metrics, music reduced to background noise for scrolling feeds. Yet Prince's legacy offers another possibility. Artists can still choose authenticity, risk, experimentation, identity, soul. And maybe that is why Prince remains timeless. Because in an era dominated by algorithms, real humanity becomes even more valuable. So was Prince really crazy in the 1990s? Or was he simply decades ahead of everyone else? Maybe the word slave wasn't only about record labels. Maybe it was a warning to all future artists, a warning about invisible systems that would one day measure creativity itself. Today, the music industry looks radically different. But the central question Prince asked remains the same. Who truly owns music? The artist, the corporation, or the algorithm? And perhaps the most frightening answer is this: the battle Prince started never actually ended.